Jack Morrison had traveled across 3-star systems looking for work. The colony ship Endeavour had dropped him and 200 other humans on Kepler 442b, promising opportunities in the burgeoning alien markets. What they'd found instead was a saturated job market where humans were seen as novelties rather than serious laborers. The Velcrin, the dominant species on this world, were a proud people, tall, with crystalline exoskeletons that shimmered in the binary sunset. They were efficient, logical, and utterly uninterested in hiring a human for anything more than entertainment value. Jack had heard about the widow through whispers at the human settlement. Commander Shalara, they said, was different. She'd lost her mate in the mining accident that had killed 17 Velcrin workers last cycle. She owned a processing facility on the outskirts of the capital and was reportedly hiring. The facility loomed before him, all sharp angles and reflective surfaces that hurt his eyes. Jack straightened his worn jacket and pressed the communication panel. A melodic series of clicks and tones answered him. "Commander Shalara, my name is Jack Morrison. I'm here about the work position." The door crystallized into transparency, and he found himself face to face with a Velcrin female whose exoskeleton had dulled with grief. Behind her, 3 small figures peered out. Children, their shells still soft and iridescent with youth. "Human," she said in perfectly accented standard. "You are far from your designated zone. I'm willing to work hard, ma'am. I have experience with processing equipment, heavy machinery, and—" "Stop." Shalara's compound eyes fixed on him with an intensity that made him want to step back. "You misunderstand the nature of the position." Jack's heart sank. Another rejection. Then Shalara said something that made his blood run cold. "I do not need a worker, Jack Morrison. I need a father." The silence stretched between them like the void of space. I don't understand," Jack managed. Shalara gestured to the 3 children behind her. "Among my people, when a mate dies, the surviving partner must bond with another within 1 cycle, or the children are remanded to the state creches. The cycle ends in 47 local days. But why would you want a human? Surely there are Velcrin males." "There are." Her voice carried a bitterness that transcended species. "Males who see my facility, my assets, my position. They see everything except what matters." She looked at her children. Velcrin mate for status and genetic compatibility. "Love is—" "It was rare what the Kren and I had." Jack's mind reeled. "And you think a human—" "I have studied your species extensively since you arrived. Humans pair bond differently. You marry for love. You adopt children not your own. You stay together even when it is inefficient." She tilted her head in a gesture he was learning meant confusion among her people. "Why do you do this?" "Because," Jack said slowly, "we believe that family isn't just about biology. It's about showing up every day. It's about being there when someone needs you." One of the children, the smallest, crept forward. Her shell was a soft pink and her eyes reflected Jack's image 100 times over. "Are you really from Earth?" she asked in a tiny voice. Jack knelt down, bringing himself to her level. "I am. Have you heard of Earth?" "Mother showed us pictures. You have water that falls from the sky." "That's called rain," Jack said, smiling. "And yes, where I grew up, we had lots of it." "Tell me more," the child whispered, and something in Jack's chest cracked open. He spent the next hour sitting on the floor with Shalara's children, Relisa, Koran, and little Tisa, telling them stories about Earth, about snow and seasons, about his nephew's birthday parties, about the dog he'd had as a kid. Shalara watched silently, her shell gradually brightening. When the children were called away by their tutor, Shalara turned to Jack. "They have not spoken this much since their father died." "They miss him," Jack said simply. "They do. And I cannot be both parents to them. The Velcrin are not designed for it." She paused. "I offer you no romance, Jack Morrison. I offer you a contract. Help me raise these children until they reach maturity. In return, you will have legal status, a home, and a share in my facility. That's 15 years at least. 17 by local years. It is a long commitment." Jack thought about the empty barracks at the human settlement, the desperate job searches, the loneliness of being light years from everyone he'd ever known. Then he thought about 3 kids who needed someone to tell them stories, to make them feel safe, to show up every day. "I have one condition," he said. Shalara's antennae perked up. "Name it. I'm not playing house. If I'm going to be their father, then I'm going to be their father I'll learn your customs, respect your culture, but I'll also teach them mine. I'll care about them, worry about them, embarrass them when they're teenagers, the whole package. For the first time since he'd arrived, Shalara's shell brightened to something approaching its natural luminescence. That is precisely what I hoped you would say. As Jack left that evening with a contract in hand and a dinner invitation for the next day, he realized something profound. Humanity's greatest export wasn't its technology or its muscle or its tactical brilliance. It was this: the stubborn, illogical, beautiful insistence that family was a choice, not just a biological imperative. 47 days later, at the bonding ceremony, little Tisa held Jack's hand and asked, "Will you tell us about rain again tonight?" Jack squeezed her small, delicate fingers and smiled. "Every night if you want, kiddo. Every single night." And somewhere across the stars, humanity's reputation shifted just a little bit more. Not as warriors or traders or explorers, but as something far more dangerous to a cold, logical universe: people who chose to love.